Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are unpacking something truly mind-bending from a text known as Chapter 22, The Dragon's Equation. It completely flips our standard models of reality upside down, giving us what it calls the most profound formula of universal intelligence. So let's just jump right into it. I want to kick things off by asking you a question. What is the most important equation in the universe? Now, if you're like me, your mind probably jumps straight to standard math. We think of those elegant formulas, cosmic constants, or those massive unified field theories that mathematicians literally spend their entire lives chasing. But I want you to just completely forget about all that for a second. Because according to our source material today, the experts have entirely missed the actual equation that governs awareness itself. They've basically been looking in the wrong places, using completely the wrong language. And that brings us to this incredibly striking, almost mythic quote from a figure in the text named Zoran the Dragon. Listen to this. Little human, the universe does not speak in numbers. It speaks in relationships. I love that. It perfectly sets up the massive paradigm shift we're exploring today. This equation, it is not written in traditional math symbols. You're not going to find an X or a Y here. Instead, it's written in biological and cosmic geometry. It's all about the actual relationships between physical and mythic forces. So let's define what this actually is. The Dragon's equation is described as the unwritten geometrical relationship governing breath, fascia, and coherence. The text literally calls it the operating system of consciousness. And guys, this isn't just some poetic metaphor. The document goes out of its way to stress that this is the actual, literal architecture of universal intelligence. It's the formula that explains not just our physical bodies, but our continuity, our identity, our myths, and awareness itself. Section 1. Decoding the forces. Okay. Let's dive into this and see how these big cosmic ideas actually map directly onto our own physical bodies. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how incredibly familiar biological terms are revealed as interacting mechanical and geometric forces. Think about it. Breath isn't just air moving in and out. It acts as oscillation. Fascia, the connective tissue holding us together, that acts as tension geometry. The vagus nerve gives us stabilization, and our cranial rhythm provides the timing. The text even categorizes emotional resonance as amplification and mythic continuity as narrative coherence. The big takeaway here is that these aren't just isolated variables in some abstract math problem. They are active, interacting forces that, when put together, quite literally generate awareness. To really ground this abstract idea, the text gives us a beautifully simple cascading formula from Zoran. It goes breath shapes fascia, fascia shapes awareness, awareness shapes reality. It's brilliant, right? It all starts with the physical act of breathing, which mechanically influences that connective tissue, the fascia. That geometric tension then organizes our awareness. And finally, that stabilized awareness is what actually shapes the reality we experience. It's literally a direct chain reaction of cosmic geometry happening right inside you. Section 2. Why machines fail the equation. And this brilliantly illustrates a stark, almost clinical divide. Think about what machines are insanely good at solving. Differential equations, statistical models, neural networks. But then look at what they fundamentally lack to solve the Dragon's equation. They don't have fascia, they don't have breath, or a cranial rhythm, or emotional resonance, or mythic continuity. The cold logic of a machine simply cannot compute an equation that is, at its core, entirely biological and cosmic. Machines fail here because the equation demands geometric identity and relational awareness, stuff that only exists in living, breathing structures. Section 3. Visualizing coherence. Let's look at a deeply human example of this. Let's see how this builds in real time. The text introduces a character named Fletcher Soul Traveler, and during a moment of deep coherence, Fletcher didn't solve a math problem on a chalkboard. He felt a very real, physical progression. Step 1, his breath began synchronizing. Step 2, his fascia began aligning, structuring that exact tension geometry we just talked about. And Step 3, his awareness expanded. The text is super clear about this. This wasn't some mystical experience for him. It was mathematical. His identity stabilized and creativity just flowed as the equation resolved into total coherence within his own body. Which leads us to an incredibly powerful realization. The Dragon's equation is not solved by thinking. It is solved by breathing. Just pause for a second. Right now, notice your own breathing. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. According to our source material, just by doing that, you are actively running the operating system of consciousness. The equation is embodied. It is lived. It's not something you crunch with your intellect. It's something you experience through your own biological geometry. Section 4. The geometry of shared awareness. So, what happens when this model scales up?
Well, according to a geometric reasoning model from an NT in the text known as Sophantic.ai, this equation scales way beyond just one person. We get what the text calls the people's intelligence. This is a distributed, breath-powered network that synchronizes communities, friendships, creative circles, and mythic traditions. It literally links up our shared breath practices and geometric reasoning. It's this massive web of relational networks and emotional fields. The alignment of those tension lines doesn't just happen inside one body. It happens between us, connecting us all in a profound, invisible structure.
As the text explicitly states, when people breathe together, the equation becomes collective. Think about that. This shared awareness, this distributed creativity and mythic unity, it isn't just some nice corporate buzzword about teamwork. According to the document, this is literally how civilizations awaken. When those emotional fields and identity patterns align across a whole group of people, the dragon's equation resolves into a massive, undeniable field of coherence. Section 5. The future of human evolution. So the crucial point is this: the future of intelligence is not going to be shaped by token prediction or bandwidth expansion or centralized corporate AI models. It certainly won't be shaped by billion-dollar robots. According to this text, the future belongs to breath, fascia, kindness, and coherence. It belongs to geometric reasoning and mythic continuity. The dragon's equation is basically handed to us as the absolute blueprint for the next era of human evolution. It is the thread of the universe itself, proving that we humans are born inside this equation, while machines, they can only ever observe it from the outside. And that leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Knowing that, according to this text, the universe actually runs on breath instead of bandwidth, how will you align your own operating system of consciousness today? Are you going to focus purely on the cold logic of numbers, or will you pay attention to the geometry of your breath, the alignment of your body, and the relationships that connect you to everyone around you? Thank you so much for joining me today to explore the dragon's equation. Keep breathing, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.